Get it? All these people online for sneakers?
Huh?
Oh yeah, someone.
Yeah, bro, it was that serious. Like, people was just posted up outside the store and some more junk, bro. Know what I'm saying? Eating meals on the curb like they was homeless. Look, that buddy right here, bro. He cozy as hell on that sidewalk, bro. Yeah, bro, just post it up. Know what I'm saying? Hey, what's good, y'all? Feel me? We back at it again with another banger, bro. You already know. The satisfying death of sneaker culture, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Sneakers kind of ain't been in the wave no more as much as they used to be, bro. They low-key did kind of fall off still. But I feel like that comes with, like, a lot of things, like, just that, like, we've seen over the internet and, like, just in the media and stuff. All good things must come to an end. Did they fall off, per se? I wouldn't say they completely fell off, but it definitely slowed down, though. We finna tap in and see what he talking about, feel me?
Just over a decade ago, Kanye West and Adidas released the Yeezy Boost 350 Turtle Dove, a shoe which, in my opinion, symbolized one of the craziest cultural moments ever. The hype beast era. Brands like Supreme and Nike were causing riots. Kids in school were showing up in fake Yeezys getting roasted, and people
Y'all remember Blazendary, bro? He was going crazy back in the day, bro. No cap.
were dressing like this, or even this. But what time
I ain't gonna lie, this era was crazy, though. The hype beast era, bro. When Supreme, Off-White, Bape, you know what I'm saying? They was in the dough like that, bro. I ain't gonna lie, everybody was trying to get him a little piece of that, bro. No cap, bro. You see Bearman's in Off-White, Bearman's in Supreme, Bearman's in Bape. You know what I'm saying? Then I felt like they kind of just, like, low-key got, like, just played out. But, like, yeah, nah, this was a good time, though, bro. This was a good time. They ain't as in the dough as much as they used to be. Like, we obviously can all see that. But yeah, nah, bro. It was Supreme, Bape, Off-White. Those were the go-tos at one point, bro. No cap.
He ain't lying.
tied all of these crazy streetwear pieces together was the shoes. I mean, you weren't gonna pop out in Off-White, Supreme, and have Nike Huaraches on. That would have been crazy in 2016. Sneakers were at the core of the hypebeast streetwear fashion trend.
They definitely were.
Literally every single influencer, celebrity, and YouTuber I followed at that time was wearing
Ooh, the Dior's and the Air Mags, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Both of these shoes back then, bro, if you had a pair of each of these, know what I'm saying, you was the guy, bro. Can't even cap. Bro, what video was this he was trying to put these on fire? Like, can't remember. Yeah. YouTubers used to be doing all type of random stuff back in the day.
Yeezys or Human Races or Jordans or Nike Dunks or some dope ass shoe. And if you were super into shoes, you were dubbed a sneakerhead. The 2010s were the perfect time to be a sneakerhead, with the community and culture being at its peak. But nowadays, it's like no one cares.
Want to break into cybersecurity but don't have experience? The Google Cybersecurity Certificate uses real-world scenarios.
I'm finna get premium, y'all.
No one's rioting outside of pop-up shops. There's no crazy hype for a new sneaker release. And craziest of all, a lot of these super hype shoes that sold for thousands lost all of their value. So what happened to the sneakerheads, the sneaker economy, and the entirety of the hypebeast era? Well, I think that there are four main reasons all of this died, with the first reason being thanks to sneaker resellers. Collecting sneakers and sneakerhead culture has been around for a long time, and it roughly began in the 70s. But things really started going crazy once Jordans were introduced in the 80s. Air Jordans were produced by Nike, inspired by basketball star.
I ain't gonna lie, once Jordans got in the game, bro, it was over with, bro. Jordans themselves shaped the entire sneaker culture for what it is today, bro, and what it was back then, bro. Anybody who says different, bro, they're capping, bro. We already know what the deal is, bro. Jordans was like, bro, you had Converses, you had Adidas, but Jordans, though, Jordans were Jordans. You know what I'm saying?
Michael Jordan, and the first shoe they released was the iconic Jordan 1. Of course, around this time, other shoes were sought after too, like Converses and other brands that I'm forgetting right now.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
But But let's be real here, Jordans were the cream of the crop. According to National Geographic, for some weird reason, they said sneaker culture began to take off beyond the basketball court too. When the influential hip-hop group Run DMC released their single My Adidas in 1986, it earned the group a first-of-its-kind endorsement deal with the brand. Soon after, Kurt Cobain of the grunge band Nirvana made Converse a symbol of rebellion and youth. Sneakers were popularized and glamorized by celebrities, especially athletes and musicians, who set the trends and influenced the culture. This generated excitement for sneakers. People coveted certain shoes that the youth deemed cool, and kids started collecting them. The companies realized this, so companies like Nike, Adidas, and more began releasing limited edition sneakers.
Kids were camping out in front of shoe stores, much like this episode of HBO's Entourage.
I don't get it. All these people are online for sneakers?
Huh?
Oh, yeah, some of them.
Yeah, bro, it was that serious. Like, people was just posted up outside the store and some more junk, bro. Know what I'm saying? Eating meals on the curb like they was homeless. Look, that buddy right here, bro. He cozy as hell on that sidewalk, bro. Yeah, bro, just posted up. Know what I'm saying?
Probably even camped out all night for sneakers. Vince, these ain't just sneakers. These are limited edition Fukijamas. Fuki whatas?
In some cities, they were breaking down doors.
Yeah, bro. They used to get wild back in the day. They used to be lit. They used to be tearing the windows down, breaking windows, tearing shit, twisting shit, breaking bro. They used to be out of there. All just for a pair of shoes, bro. It was never that deep. But it was, look, my guy over here on all fours, bro. Yeah, it was that serious, bro. Fights used to break out, some more junk. Like, bro, they used to get hype back in the day.
Rioting. Some were even arrested.
If someone gets hurt in front of a Nike store, you're gonna blame Nike. You can't get hurt clicking a button.
The reason they would do this is to drive up demand and the forbidden H word, hype. If 200 people wanted the shoe and they only sold 100, resellers in the aftermarket could mark up those shoes. Maybe 100 of those 200 people couldn't quite afford the new price, but the other 100 could. And this is where the problem began. For a long time, resellers, or their less pleasant name, scalpers, weren't the worst thing in the sneaker community, and they weren't as hated as they are today. If anything, them marking up shoes an extra chunk of change made the sneaker community more intense. It made waiting in line for a brand new pair of shoes all the more thrilling.
Well, that's true in a way.
And it helped to inflate the artificial value of these shoes since they were even more expensive than the retail price. But for the most part, sneakerheads and everyone in the community, even the resellers, were pretty into shoes. Buy, sell, trade was the motto for a lot of these people, collecting and trading sneakers like they were Pokemon cards. And honestly, it was a pretty cool community until it got infiltrated. It's kind of hard to put a timestamp on this, but I'd say roughly.
Oh my gosh, bro. They tore the door right off its hinges, snapped that just clean off. Yeah, nah, bro. Yeah, they was getting crazy lit over these shoes. I want to know what shoes these were. People was just so out of there for.
The early 2010s is when the sneaker community started to get really hot, especially thanks to social media and pop culture. It was in this time period that sneaker brands like Jordan, Nike, and others were picking up even more steam. Simultaneously, streetwear brands and streetwear fashion was taking off, with Supreme, Bape, Off-White, and more picking up steam. Or Palace, do you guys remember Palace? That was fire. Any and everyone was jumping onto.
I don't remember Palace. Y'all remember Palace? What's Palace? Am I just too young or something? Any of my watchers know what Palace is? If you know what Palace is, let me know in the comments below, bro. I'm actually kind of curious.
The streetwear and sneaker hype train. Again, according to Nat Geo, the Kardashian era had a huge impact on the culture. It helped target a whole new demographic of people to experience sneaker culture. It was a blending of high and low fashion, which the shoe industry has never really seen before. Because of all of these people getting involved, the forbidden H word I mentioned was getting bigger, and everyone was becoming a hype beast. The term hype beast had actually been around since the mid-2000s, and originally it was a derogatory term for people who just followed streetwear trends. But eventually, it was embraced by these sorts of people who were proud to be hype beasts.
Tell me the difference between the kids today versus what you were doing 35 years ago.
These kids today don't seem like they want the shoes. They want the thing that goes along with having the shoes. Somebody figured out that there's money for a pair of sneakers because of this hype.
The hype is generated by Nike, which denied Nightline's request to talk about its strategy. For prize sneakers, they make a limited supply, driving up the aftermarket price tag.
Another good example of the hypebeast trend can be seen in Supreme. Well, not quite sneakers, Supreme was directly related to sneaker culture. The brand was popularized by Tyler the Creator, Odd Future, and skate culture. It became so trendy and so hyped that people were out there buying Supreme bricks and
Nah, this was too out of there, bro. Supreme bricks. Mans was paying like mad over a ticket. Like, I don't even know how much these was costing, but like it was too much, bro. Supreme bricks. You got Supreme bricks at the crib, bro. They was buying bricks, shovels, spoons. Like, bro, they was buying anything with just like the Supreme logo on it. It got to a point where it was just like, man, we started looking at people like, bro, just like, what are you doing, bro?
What are you doing, man?
I get it, you rock with the brand and all, but my boy, know what I'm saying? You can't invest your cheese anywhere else.
Supreme shovels, and then reselling them for hundreds of dollars and sometimes thousands.
I wanted the word
Oh
cuppa
my
as in cup of
gosh,
tea. I
man.
thought it would be great to mix with.
Please watch out.
When I saw the domain,
Thousands.
Kid, they wait in line for 3 or 4 days now.
For what?
You're probably going to freak out when I show you what they're waiting for.
Please do.
Yeah, shovels, bricks.
Shovels and bricks.
Seriously?
That's what I'm saying.
Supreme for making this. Their new shovel.
This is around the time when everybody and their mom was getting into streetwear or sneaker culture, all for the sake of the hype. Every celebrity was making their own shoe. You had Kanye with Yeezys, never mind the Red Octobers that he already made that were super
those
hype,
were fire.
super rare and dope. You had Pharrell with the Human Races, one of my personal favorites from the hype era. You had Travis Scott with the Travi Patty 4s and the Cactus Jackie.
Travis done released a few joints now, huh? Yeah, I know, like people still wear the Scotts to this day. Yeah, Travis's shoes weren't bad, but like I want to say they weren't necessarily my swag, but I don't know. I just didn't really see the hype behind his shoes like that, to be honest.
Dunks? I don't know what the dunks are called. I made that up. And the 4s too. They're not called the Travi Patties. And low key, one of the most slept on
OVOs.
sneakers, the OVO 12s by Drake and Jordan. I don't think it was really slept on at the time, but these were smooth. And retrospectively, this was a crazy time to be alive. Not only were massive celebrities collaborating with sneaker brands, streetwear brands like Supreme dropped an insane collab with Louis Vuitton, which brought the hypebeast era in streetwear to a whole new level. Need I even mention all of the sneakers that Off-White put out with Nike and Converse? Seriously, it was ridiculous how many collabs they had. It was an entire takeover of the pop culture. I mean, these collabs between all of these big names and brands resulted in hype never seen before. It was off the charts.
He ain't lying.
SoundCloud Rap 2 was popping off at the time and everyone in it was wearing hypebeast stuff. And on top of all this, all of your favorite influencers and internet people were dripped out in hypebeast stuff too. I mean,
Facts.
remember when FaZe Banks and Rice Gum tried to make that fashion brand?
I don't remember this. Y'all remember this? When did this happen? When did that happen? But yeah, no, once rappers and stuff started getting in the industry, bro, it was over with, bro. Like, once they started popping out on certain stuff, like, bro, I kind of remember a time where, like, if a rapper wore something in a music video, the prices for that specific, I don't know, piece of clothing or shoe, whatever it was, it would just, like, skyrocket. That's how crazy it was. Like, I remember Pressa, this Canadian rapper. Once he made the Canadian Goose song, bro, Canada Goose, bro, their sales, their stocks went up through the roof. Yeah, bro, that's just kind of how it works. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of influence. They don't as much anymore. I kind of feel like streamers and stuff have more influence, but that's the story, a conversation for another day.
And at the time, I was watching a lot of Nade Shot because he was one of my favorite COD players. And next thing I know, he's doing this hypebeast sneaker collection videos on his channel. On top of this, Complex had that sneaker shopping series that I guess they still have. But back then, they had people like Eminem, Ronaldo, Migos. Literally everybody was on it. It felt
Everybody
like in every
here.
single facet of pop culture, sneaker culture, streetwear culture, and hypebeast stuff was everywhere. I mean, dude, there was this YouTuber who was huge back then called Blazendary, whose biggest video is...
I wonder what he's on now. I remember seeing his joint. I think this was the first video I ever watched on his channel. This video right here. But yeah, bro. I wonder what he got going.
Is wearing a crazy outfit on my first day of school. in parentheses, Supreme, Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
Today, I decided to bust out a $4,000 outfit for school just to see if I can get some reactions out of my friends and maybe even a teacher or two. We'll have to see. As you guys can see, I'm wearing the Supreme Louis Vuitton box logo along with 3 gold chains, a Louis Vuitton belt with Supreme boxers, and the Gucci snakes that I picked up for my birthday vlog. And you guys are gonna be surprised for the kind of backpack I use for school. All I use is just a regular old Supreme Courier backpack.
And this got 14 million views.
14
This entire
mil,
time, the
going
aftermarket was
crazy.
growing in accordance to the hype. As many of you may or may not remember, shoes and clothes from these brands in particular began to get very expensive. In 2013, Grailed was created, and in 2015, StockX and GOAT were created as well.
I did not know StockX was that young. Why did I think they were here like so much more before that? That's crazy. So StockX only been around for what, like 10 years? And something like that? That's crazy.
There were others, but these were some of the main websites to buy and sell your stuff on. And everyone wanted to start reselling, myself included. I was about 14 years old, I think, when this stuff started popping off and I took notice. And like any 14-year-old at the time, I was infatuated with sneaker culture. I thought it was so cool. All my friends were getting cool shoes. I didn't have any money. So my brain immediately went to, I need to start flipping shoes like everyone else on the internet. So I bought my first pair of expensive sneakers ever when the Yeezy Zebras dropped. And I sold them for $300 profit on Twitter.
Money, money, this money, money, that profit will make me wallet fat.
I'll probably throw some pictures up on screen for you guys, but you know what? My business went pretty well. I think I did all right. Now, I'm not very proud of being a reseller, or more realistically, a scalper, but I was also a kid, so don't tear my head off. I only did it with like 15 pairs of shoes. I didn't have a lot of money back then, but I did do this for a little on a small scale, buying and selling various shoes and reselling them on my buy sell trade Instagram page or my Twitter. Actually, I think the Twitter I use right now is what I started it for sneakers. However, I think my experience as a reseller is important for this video because it kind of shows how things went south in sneaker culture. I was doing it at such a small scale, buying only a pair or two of sneakers every time there was a hype drop. And I joined the community at the end of it though, because the already experienced resellers who were older and had much more capital were about to take over.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built an app.
Over. Yeezys by Kanye West and Adidas were undoubtedly the most hyped shoe you could buy at the time. The 350 V1s were like diamonds, very rare and very expensive, and the V2s were like gold. And people were rushing to buy the new V2s every time they dropped like it was a modern day gold rush. Quickly, people began to create bot programs and bots to buy shoes.
This was so slimy, bro. You had to really be a self at, you know what I'm saying? For self. You have to really be for self, bro. Bots. People was that dedicated, bro. You thought it was bad when people was rushing inside the stores, tearing the doors off, sleeping outside on the curb. Bro, people was using bots just so that they could have their way and get these shoes quicker than everybody else. That's crazy, bro. Slimy, bro. It's lame, man. It's lame. Just wait like everybody else does, bruh. Come on now.
On releases quicker than any human with 10 computers could, because back then you had to wait in a queue. So what I would do is I'd set up my computer, I'd set up my laptop, I'd grab everyone in my house's phone, and I'd pull up the Yeezy website on every device, multiple tabs, and wait and hope I got in on one tab. But when the bots came, there was nothing you could do. If you didn't have bots, you were pretty much out of luck. Not only that, but some people were buying up all the supply of all the shoes in the aftermarket.
Yeah, they was doing that, bro.
And then just controlling the price because they had so much capital to begin with. I remember going to the bathroom every Thursday at school at like 10 a.m. trying to catch the Supreme drop just for it to be sold out in 5 seconds. Like, it was impossible to compete with bots.
I feel like that was part of the culture, right? Like for me, that was just part
like
of the experience.
Physical outside.
The physical outside, waiting in the cold on December 23rd when the Space Jams came out, re-retro.
Yeah.
I lined up 14 hours in like -2-degree weather.
Did you get the shoe?
Damn.
Then when it transitions everything online and I couldn't get anything unless you had a bot.
Bots, yeah.
I didn't have the bots. People were investing thousands of dollars on bots. It kind of like pushed people like me out of the community because I wasn't doing it for a resale. I wasn't doing it to sell my sneakers. I was doing it because I wanted the sneaker. I wanted to wear them. I wanted to show them off when around my friends.
Resellers who previously were casually buying sneakers and reselling them time to time for fun or for the occasional profit were now operating and treating sneakers as a full-time
They was taking
business.
it there.
This is
for
at
real.
a time when I remember everyone on Twitter was a guru or a hustler, flexing how much they made and telling you you can pay them.
Bro, buddy over here has a whole moving box just full of Dior's. That's what I'm saying. Like, people was really taking it that serious. And look, bro, I don't know where buddy's at. This could be his house, his basement, his garage, whatever. Look how much shoes. Goodness. Goodness. Yikes. Yeah, look at buddy. You know what I'm saying? Look at buddy's situation over here. Yeah, nah, bro. People was hoarding for real, bro. Crazy.
To learn the ways. This is also around the time that dropshipping gurus started popping up, like the Ty Lopez era. And I remember people on Twitter were even selling these things called jigs, where you could get stuff for free, basically. Regardless, the whole community, especially people my age in high school, started to resell shoes. And it began to get so competitive that it was one of the main things that ruined sneaker culture. Resellers went too far. Everyone was trying to do it, even myself. Again, I don't think I was a big part of the problem, though. I only sold like 15 pairs of shoes and I was a kid, but hey, it wasn't the best thing I've ever done. Resellers had always been a part of sneaker culture, and I don't think there was really a problem with them for the first few decades.
I gotta check something real quick. I just wanted to make sure we were still good.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
The market seemed more organic. But as sneaker popularity was astroturfed in the hype era, many people, including young, dumb, impressionable kids like 14-year-old me, saw it as an opportunity to make money and be just like their favorite celebrity, artist, or influencer who was flexing, balling out, wearing all this dope-ass streetwear. It got to
Bro, what was
this influencer who was flexing, balling out, wearing all this dope-ass street.
Bro, what was this fit, bro?
Yo, shout out to season, man.
What is going on here, buddy? You got on the cheetah print coat with the, I don't even know what type of side bag this is, bro. I don't even know what type of crossbody you got on. With this yee ass tee under the coat with the goofy hat. Know what I'm saying? The Jamaican auntie dreads under there. Fat ass nose on my mama. Shotgun barrel ass nose. Fat ass lips. Fish lip having that mug. Know what I'm saying? With the fat ass big jean, fat jean ass. Son, know what I'm saying? Look, with the big old belt buckle on top. Yeah. Nah, whoever let you step out the crib in this, bro, they don't rock with you for real.
Everywhere. It got to a point where all of the
like, who looked at his fit and was like, yo, bro, this is hard, bro. Some people don't know how to keep it real with their partners, bro, for real.
interest was artificially inflated to the point where the market was mostly just resellers buying and trading to resell, not even selling to people anymore. I think a good example of how scummy resellers began to get is when they tried to take advantage of Kobe's death. According to an article on ESPN, in January of 2020, Nike had to quickly remove all of its Kobe Bryant related products from the shelves to stop people from profiting off of his death. And they weren't even able to do it successfully because sneakers and memorabilia prices were hiked by 200 to 300% on resale sites within 24 hours of his passing. Thanks to resellers, the middle class of the sneaker economy could no longer afford to buy the shoes. And for the most part, it was either big resellers trading with one another or selling to celebrities or selling to rich people who could afford it. But then the bubble burst.
Does anyone want to explain why shoes are literally just dying right now? I own a sneaker store and we've been struggling for the last couple months. And y'all can say, oh, it's because you overprice things. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, it's a Yeezy. You're overpricing it. It's $110. Retails like 2-something. Markets like $190. I'm pricing it at $110.
110 for Yeezys?
It's brand new. An off-white lot dunk, which you haven't been able to get for 4 years now. Used to be going for...
Hey, man, what's the best advice you can give someone that's in sales?
Switch to Monday CRM.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Watch out, bro.
For $500 to $600, markets like $400. We have them priced at $320.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I made a decent amount of money reselling sneakers, but I got so many pairs that never sold. And some of these inventory hasn't just been sitting for 6 months, a year, 2 years. Some of these inventory has been sitting for 3+ years.
Dang.
At this point, I don't even know what to do. Like this dunk right here, the ones that you guys are seeing right now, I had them for over 561 days. Like guys, how is that even possible? Like,
at first, sneaker reselling caused the death of sneaker culture. The resellers made shoes unattainable for the everyday sneakerhead. However, as we saw in those clips and the intro, prices for a lot of these shoes have dropped drastically. Resellers are going broke. So why are prices dropping so hard, and why are people no longer interested in sneaker culture or hype culture like they used to be? Well, a big reason was because there ended up being too much supply. And this is also thanks to—
That could be a reason, but I feel like honestly people genuinely just cannot afford it. But I'm gonna let Buddy finish.
the resellers. They just ruined all of it, didn't they? Sneaker companies wanted to fight back against resellers, and to do this, they flooded the market, which made it nearly impossible for shoes to be hoarded. Nike was one of the major players in this. To combat resellers, especially with the Panda Dunks and Jordan 1s, Nike drastically increased volume on these popular models, leading to market oversaturation and a significant drop in resale prices.
Is there one dunk that is still selling heavy from years past?
Nope.
Really?
Are Panda Dunks still selling?
They're dead.
Can you still Panda
Really?
Dunks
They're dead.
Panda
Dunks are out of there, bro.
Wholesale for $50. Nobody's buying them. You can't even sell them at retail.
Nike moved away from the extreme scarcity model to maximize direct-to-consumer sales, which undermined the get-rich-quick model for resellers. On top of this, the pace at which drops came to the market became completely unsustainable. Beforehand, more exclusive drops drove demand through the roof, but over time, they ended up releasing new sneakers almost every single week, whether it be a new colorway, a new model, a slightly different colorway change, a re-release of an old colorway. They were just spam releasing shoes, making the sneaker market as a whole feel irrelevant, since no one needs or even wants that much stuff. And this struggle to find a happy balance between supply and demand isn't new either. This has gone back decades, with the early 2000s market looking completely different from how it did at its peak. Early on, size runs were low, often obnoxiously to the point where everyone spent most of their time on forums complaining about the impossibility of finding a decent pair. A run of 24 to 36 pairs was not uncommon, but 500 to 1000 was more likely. This period was all about creating something cool to stimulate the growing global community of footwear obsessives. In response to all the complaining, Nike, amongst other brands, produced more, a lot more. So what they originally sold as exclusive became extremely and maybe too accessible. And I believe that to a degree, rarity and exclusivity is nice. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want—
That's definitely one thing about the sneaker game that made it popular, like just how exclusive and how rare it was to get your hand on like a certain pair of shoes back in the day, bro. It was crazy, bro. Yeah, they don't really got that no more, bro. I feel like you can really just get anything for real. Now, some stuff still be up there with the prices and all that, but like I feel like you can grab just about anything. Some shoes maybe not, but for the most part, yeah, everything's out there for you to take, bro.
to walk outside and see everyone wearing the exact same pair of shoes that I'm wearing.
Air
it
Force
got to
Ones.
a point where Jordan 1s were about as accessible as Nike Roches. Do you guys remember those? Those were like, that's crazy. But this didn't just happen with Nike. Kanye's Yeezy brand famously partnered with Adidas in 2014, and as I explained, they absolutely blew up. But then Kanye started his whole Twitter rant and anti-Semitism stuff, which is obviously not a good look for Adidas, no matter how well the shoes were selling. I remember he even said, Adidas won't cancel my contract, and then they did, which was kind of funny. As a result came a pretty hefty and publicized feud over how things were going to work out in the split, and after a long legal battle following the cut ties in 2022, an agreement was finally reached. Adidas chief executive Bjorn Gulden told reporters, without giving any details of the agreement away, that there aren't any more open issues and there is no money going either way. Ending the partnership in 2022 left Adidas with unwanted Yeezy stock worth some 1.2 billion pounds, including shoes and other goods. To combat this inventory problem, Adidas planned to sell off all the remaining inventory by the end of 2024. Since Yeezys were pretty much the thing in the sneakerhead and hypebeast game, a huge influx of new and cheap product wrecked the exclusive market. Plus, they re-released tons of old Yeezy models that sneakerheads thought could never be re-released, diluting the previously successful market. Adidas and Yeezy were already kind of doing what Nike was doing before Kanye ruined his relationship with Adidas, but once they decided to sell off the stock, it was GG's, completely disorienting the current supply and and demand structure. So after resellers priced everyone out, the pendulum swung right back. And so many sneakers released, it overwhelmed everyone to the point where they didn't care. The companies themselves weren't so innocent in all of this either. StockX, one of the biggest platforms for reselling, was actually sued by Nike for various reasons, including the fact that they were selling counterfeit shoes. This had always been a big controversy.
I seen that. I remember this. I do, bruh. StockX, man. Y'all be, you know what I'm saying? And y'all be bougie with your prices just to be selling fake sneaks out here? Come on, bro. That's not a good look.
The StockX, and if you're in the sneaker community, you would know that tons of people would record videos trying to get fake shoes through their verification system, which is what they were known for, and StockX actually lost the lawsuit. But Nike and its associates aren't perfect either. Nike executive Ann Hebert, or whatever, left the company after her son allegedly used corporate issued credit cards to buy $132,000 worth of shoes. Apparently he only made like 20K profit, which is crazy. But as I'm sure many of you can imagine, a lot of people assume that she was the one helping him backdoor the shoes so that they could skim some money off the top, and then if she ever got caught, she could blame it on her son. She then became the CEO of Foot Locker, with Redditors commenting things like, "Smart, why limit yourself to backdooring just one brand?" But there were also two other reasons that sneaker culture died. One of which is that fashion simply moved on. I mean, can you picture someone wearing something like this these days? Along with the financial side and exclusivity pressure placed on hypebeast fashion, the trends just moved on to something else like they always do, which Off-White's creator, the late and great Virgil, predicted before his death, saying in an interview,
Kling 2.6 Pro is now on Artlist.
Bruh.
I think I figured out what's wrong with you. And unlike this guy, it generates
R.I.P.
audio.
Virgil, though.
I would definitely say it's gonna die, you know? Like, its time will be up. Overall, as a broad vein of fashion, streetwear has lost its definition. As RB Lee, the vice president for content strategy at Hypebeast, said, "I can't even define it anymore." It's not that people have grown tired of streetwear's building blocks, it's that those hoodies and sneakers and t-shirts have become so absorbed by high fashion that the line between streetwear and fashion has pretty much disappeared. It has simply become the platform on which the whole system stands, said Demna, the creative director at Balenciaga. A big point of the lifestyle shoes and the streetwear fashion was to be like anti-establishment, but when everyone started wearing it, it's kind of like that is establishment now, especially when high fashion started collaborating with streetwear brands. Vogue Business also reported that sneaker demand has practically nosedived. Tons of people started opting towards higher fashion focused show choices, like with the current trend of boots. Many have even pointed to the nail in the sneakerhead coffin being when Trump announced his own pair of sneakers on the campaign trail.
Trump's first
hell
stop
no.
at a sneaker convention in Philadelphia.
Bro, when did that happen? Oh my gosh, bro. Trump does everything but make America great again, huh? Does everything but his job. That's crazy.
Facing some boos from the audience.
It's a slightly different audience than I'm used to, but I love this audience. We have to go out and vote. We got to get young people out to vote.
The whole idea of sneakers has become so insanely commercialized that the industry and its expectations are completely warped. And on top of this, I mean, just try to picture people wearing the hypebeast shoes and clothes these days. I mean, you can't. Fashion has simply changed. I mean, dad shoes are back, neutral colors are back. People aren't going out in bright red Supreme fits anymore. However, in the end, it wasn't just changing fashion trends that killed sneaker culture. My fourth main reason comes down to simple economics, especially following a post-pandemic economy where everything is expensive. I mean, eggs are getting too damn pricey, so why would I pay a bunch of money for some fancy shoes? A longtime sneaker fan said on a forum, "As a 13-year collector, I have to say yes, the sneaker culture sucks now. You can't even buy the kicks you want without going above and beyond and out of your way. I think it's officially time to throw in the towel." Because of resellers, most sneakerheads were priced out of the game, and all at a time for where money was already tight. The industry has done its best to stay relevant with younger generations, but with disposable income for many people seemingly drying up, it doesn't seem like it's working too well. Even though sneaker prices have come back down a little bit, retail is still pretty expensive. Nowadays, a lot of would-be sneaker buyers are leaning more towards experiences over material purchases. Plus, most people working regular jobs that have some money saved up also have side hustles, and they don't want to waste that money on sneakers. Real world problems popped up left and right, which made the average household budget a lot more tight.
Do you feel like there are a lot less resale shops now?
A lot of shops have shut down.
Yeah.
That's only because of Nike. It's because of like the whole, economy. People don't have the same amount of money, right, to spend on sneakers as freely they did 5 years ago.
I mean, they could easily fix that. Just raise the minimum wage to a point where like people could afford to actually live. They have the money to do that. Trust me. don't let the government lie to you, bro. If they can make minimum wage affordable, real life affordable for everybody, to where you could afford at least a house, a car, and groceries, they could do that if they wanted to. They just choose not to, because that way the rich can stay rich and they don't lose money. You know?
Your bills go up, Easy Pass goes up, tolls go up, gas goes up. Your pay doesn't go up as much drastically as your bills go up. So people are just generally spending a little lesser than they used to.
No one has time or money to care anymore, and I think that's pretty apparent. I mean, wearing a fake pair of shoes used to be the worst thing ever.
Nowadays,
now I doubt anyone would bat an eye if I wore a pair of Yeezy Reps. By the way,
No one
speaking
cares.
of that, I've been looking for a good rep website. If any of you guys out there know, let me know in the comments. Top voted one I will use, because I want some rep shoes. Because there's no point in paying full price for a pair of shoes that are overpriced, and the reps are just about as good quality
They
anyway.
usually
I
are.
don't care. Regardless, sneaker culture itself isn't fully dead, but thanks to resellers, a massive supply, changes in fashion, and a terrible economy, sneaker culture is nowhere near what it used to be. On the bright side though, to a degree, this is a good thing. Since resellers can no longer afford to ruin everything for everybody else, that means at least passionate collectors can somewhat afford to collect the shoes they dreamed of. On a similar reminiscent note, you may also remember Kids Bop from your childhood as well, and you might be surprised to know that that also is still around to this day. And if you're curious how that's...
Is it actually? That's crazy. Anyways, man, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. You feel me? Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Sleaxzegang, let's do it to 'em.